Now the fourth classification I have on the basis of molecular forces. So we see that on the basis of molecular forces, they are of four types: elastomers, fibers, thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. Now what are elastomers? Elastomers are actually rubber like, they are solid, but the force which exists between them is a weak van der Waals force, that is the weak van der Waals force, and due to which existence of weak force, they are somehow stretchable also, and you know that development of crosslink actually help them in retracting their original shape. So this is what is the elastomers. Example we have is Buna S, natural rubber, likewise. Second, on the basis of molecular force, we classify polymers into fibers. Fibers are actually thread-like, they can be woven into fabric, and strong forces are there, high tensile strength, and they are crystalline with high melting and boiling point. And you know that due to which this reason, like nylon 66, it can be used in making ropes, nets and all, because they have high strength. Third is thermoplastic. They are actually linear polymers, and you know that in them actually the force is again a weak force, but the important property of them is that like when we heat them they melt, and on cooling they form a hard mass, and due to which actually we can use these certain you can say the patterns in which they can be just added, heat up, and when they cool they settle in casting the different shapes. So we can have different shapes of them like polythene, polystyrene, like that. Thermosetting ones are those which are semi-fluid substances with low molecular mass, but you know that when we heat them they develop cross links, due to which they become hard in nature, and sometimes they form a three-dimensional network also, like bakelite. So depending upon the molecular forces, they have very low force, they have sufficient force. They actually when they are heated the force become less, but when on cooling again they form a hard mass, and thermosetting ones are those which like on heating form a hard mass due to development of cross linkage between them, and often they form a three-dimensional network also. Example for them, because it is stretchable, so example is natural rubber and these synthetic rubbers as well. Fibers we have nylon 66 and all, and thermoplastics like polystyrene and polythene, and thermosetting ones are bakelite or a melamine kind of things. So these are the polymers, these are the classification on the polymers depending upon the origin. I think you got it, and depending upon the origin we classify into natural and this thing synthetic and semi-synthetic. On the basis of structure we have linear, that is this chain like structure, and second we have is that branched, in which you see a branches, and third is that in which you see a cross linkage. On the basis of polymerization, when they are simply adding up, nothing is removed, it is addition. If the same type of monomers, it is homopolymer. If different type of monomers, then it is copolymer. And second is the condensation, in which at the site of their joining, they get condensed, actually some small molecule is liberated. And depending upon the molecular force, they are elastomers, stretchable with weak force, fibers, thread-like, which can be woven into a fabric with high strength, and thermoplastic, which when heated melt, and on cooling it forms a hard mass, so can be cast into different shapes. Thermosetting one is that semi-fluid like, that becomes actually hard when we heat it due to development of cross linkage. So this is what is the classification depending upon these four properties. Now we are going to start with the next topic. Just look at the board.